Also, I mean, usually people don't have to like look through like 15 books per podcast, so it's like you're gonna need to be setting that down. If you're setting it down like on the mic without the, all right, it's just too much.
I guess podcasts are made for breaking a dozen Peanuts books too.
Yeah. Ladies and gents, Ben Staab. We're here to talk about Peanuts today.
What's your experience with the Peanuts? Did you grow up reading them?
No, actually.
You're a Calvin and Hobbes kid.
I was, yeah. I read Calvin and Hobbes. Only in like 4th grade though was like the only like I didn't read anything in the newspaper. You know what I mean? There was like a book that we had in 4th grade that was just like
a Calvin and Hobbes book.
Yeah, and I thought those were pretty like messed up because it was like this kid, like this imaginary tiger was like his best friend.
Yes.
And then so it's like he would just like ponder the universe, and then they would always put like the last panel is like the tiger of like a stuffed bear. It was like it would make it real for the whole thing, and then then it would bring you back to reality, and you're like, what?
Okay, because I haven't
so
deep
dope.
dived into Calvin and Hobbes lately, but I was talking to someone. I'm trying to come up with a theory about types of kids that read Calvin and Hobbes and types of kids that read Peanuts. I don't have it yet.
Yeah.
But I was trying to read Calvin and Hobbes and just figure out like the psychology behind kids that read it.
Yeah.
But I did like that it like shows you that it's a real stuffed animal and it's just his imagination and everything like that. But I don't know, Calvin, he's just a bad kid, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's a mischievous kid, you know, but you know, who wasn't when you were? Yeah, I don't know, maybe I was a mischievous kid, and that's why I like related. Maybe that's the theory.
I was a Linus.
You were
I was a total Linus growing up.
Yeah, so which one is Linus again? So
Linus is the kid with the blanket.
The security
blanket.
Oh, so you're just a bitch. That's what you were.
I was a bitch. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
I had an orange jacket that honestly growing up I had so many like security objects. So
Really?
like as a little kid I had a stuffed animal named Fluffy, little bear.
Yeah.
That I literally would not like. I'd go to sleep with them. I wouldn't go anywhere without holding them. Like just brought them everywhere up until way too late, probably. Like I think I slept with them in 4th grade, probably into 5th, like wild. And then in 4th grade, I got another security object that was like an orange fleece jacket that I just summer, fall, winter, spring, like always been wearing it.
Yeah.
Constantly replaced the jacket with another jacket one day because I just loved it. Like I felt comfortable with it.
Right.
That's why I always vibed with Linus. Like I understand him.
Well, 4th and 5th grade are also like a weird time because there is like kids that are still holding on to stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was like I remember this kid in 5th grade was like we were up on the bus and he was like yelling up to some girls on the bus or something. He's like, "Yeah, I'm about to go bang some bitches and this guy's still jerking off over here." And I'm like, "Bro, we're in 5th grade. What are you talking? We haven't even watched the movie yet." You know what I mean? It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm just
crazy.
fucking bitches all the time, man. That's why I didn't do my homework. Just too busy getting pussy.
Yeah. No, he definitely didn't do his homework. That's for sure. I'm pretty sure he dropped out.
Yeah.
But
that's probably a kid that read Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he's a bad influence. I really do.
Calvin, you think so?
I think so. I don't know. It's always real bumptious kids that like Calvin and.
Well, so the way that I was when I was like, I don't know, 1st through 4th grade, I went to Catholic school and I was like, I don't know, I felt like I was the shit. You know, like I was like I peaked in 4th grade, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Because then after 4th grade, I got transferred over into public school. And it was just like a completely new crowd. Nobody knew me, and like I didn't know how to fit in. So then I kind of turned into like a Linus a little bit. But my security blankets were like I did magic in like 6th grade.
Did you do magic?
I did. I was a magic kid.
I was just having a conversation about this with my brother last night. He was like anybody worth talking to is someone that grew up doing magic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's cool.
And that the reason that people hate magicians now, because you see magicians and like you're like, what the fuck? You make $7 an hour? Like, shut the fuck up? Like, whatever. Like, everybody gets kind of like buck about magicians,
right?
Because you grew up doing magic, and then one day, like people make fun of it enough to where you're like, fuck, I don't have to find someone's car. You know what I mean? Like you get nervous about doing magic with people, and then you push the magic down.
you stuff it down.
You get a little corporate job.
Closeted.
Yeah, I mean, you stop doing magic for people. That's why like people resent magicians.
Wow.
You know what I mean? But it is nice to do. I was doing magic last night.
Yeah. What? What were you doing last night?
I was at a holiday party with Josh and Anna.
Okay.
We went to the Christmas party, and Leah was there. It was a ridiculous night. Like me and Leah were talking about yada yada, like how to like make babies laugh, and then like how to make like fucking children laugh. And I'm like, oh, here's like a killer move of the kid, and it was like a coin trick.
Yeah.
Taught her the coin trick. Told her to go do it to Josh. She goes up to Josh, does a coin trick. He freaks out. And then I'm like, let me show you one. I do it, and it's like a very risky move, like, because it's just crazy advanced sleight of hand. Sometimes it fails, and you look like fucking, you look like an idiot in front of everyone. And it fucking crushed. It worked perfectly. And then Josh was like, I'll show you one. He grabbed the nickel, and then he like was like, and like pretended to swallow it, and like looked in pain, looked uncomfortable. And then me and Lee were like, did you swallow the nickel? You know? And then he's like, show that there's nothing in his sleeves and all that shit. And then like, yeah, come to find out, he just really swallowed the nickel. And we're like, what?
He didn't even make it reappear.
No, he literally like 10 minutes later we were outside. He was just trying to vomit. Like it was just truly.
That's not even a magic trick.
That's even a magic
you just
trick.
Swallowed a nickel.
Yeah, it's like we have to call poison control now. This is crazy.
Also, I feel like a nickel is like the easiest one to swallow. It's the one with the soft edge. While the other ones have like rough edges.
Good
too.
Point. Great point.
Yeah, so he's a bitch for swallowing a nickel of all of them.
I know. I don't think it's ever coming out of him.
Yeah, probably not.
One day a grave robber would be 5 cents richer, you know?
Yeah. So how did you get into peanuts, I guess? How old were you?
This was also in like the 4th grade time of my life, because I moved to Pennsylvania, lived with my grandma and my grandpa, and then my grandma just had a thick ass book of Peanuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would read those all the time. That's how I got into Peanuts, and then I always had a love for them. I don't know. It is like, I think it's one of those things, kind of like It's a Wonderful Life, that like you can relate to it as a kid and you can relate to it as like a teenager, and it's just like only gonna get better and better and better with age. It's great. Like
So how did you get recently back into it?
How to get these books?
Yeah.
It's whatever. We don't need to talk about all that.
Is it like an ex-girlfriend type
yeah,
of thing?
Michaela bought me all these books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because she knew you liked peanuts?
Yeah.
Okay.
But forget about it.
Yeah. That's okay. Some people were brought into our lives only to buy us Peanuts book. Anyways, that's
so true.
That's the
it
main
was funny
purpose.
because she got me all the books, so that I was like reading Ear Spoken. She was watching whatever TV show, and like I'm just like reading the Peanuts books and like cracking up by myself. And then she's like, I think I've never seen you this happy. And I'm like, yeah, really, I fucking love the Peanuts.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But then she got jealous of the Peanuts book. She was like, why do you like Snoopy more than me?
And that's why we broke
What
up.
does Snoopy have that I don't have?
That's crazy. You're down bad for Lucy, I think, right?
Yeah. No.
No.
She's a child.
But you're an inner child, so it's fine, right?
I know I have an inner whimsy. This is the theme of the day, because that's what me and my brother were talking about last night, especially in the Christmas season, is that everybody just tries to shoot down your whimsy. A lot of fucking Lucy's. You know what I mean?
You're saying Whimsy and Lucy. What are these?
There's Linuses and there's Lucy's.
Oh, okay.
So Lucy, they're siblings, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't know. Are you into the Peanuts like that?
Not really, no.
Linus and Lucy are the siblings. Linus is the blanket guy.
I didn't know that, yeah.
Lucy's the mean clobbering.
So they're brother
she
and
punches
sister.
people.
Yeah, I know her.
Yeah.
Right.
But like for real, you start, like if you are like a more happy-go-lucky, whimsical person that wants to do magic in front of people, shit like that, other people are going to be mean to you your whole life, and then like one day you'll be like, all right, I'm going to be mean to other people, and you know what I mean?
Oh, wow, yeah.
But Christmas season is all about
trying to be a Linus?
Yeah, trying to be a Linus. You know what I mean? You got to let the magic out. Literally yesterday at Helium, I was like just at the bar, and my brother sent me like an article about how Santa Claus is real, because Santa Claus is the spirit of giving and the spirit of generosity, and we make him real by giving presents and all this shit.
Oh, that makes
but
sense.
the title of the article is like, "Is Santa real?" And like I was eating a candy cane and like drinking ginger ale, and like the security guards came and was like, "What you up to?" And I was like, "I'm just reading about if Santa Claus is real." I'm starting to have doubts.
Yeah, no, that's a Linus move for sure.
It's a Linus move.
Yeah.
And I think I come off so badly to some people, but fuck it.
No, it's okay.
Truly fuck it.
But anyways, I found out that Charles Schultz, the guy that wrote these, that came up with this, he was your regular artist, right? So he was like, no matter what, I'm going to write comics. Like,
yes.
Like he's like, I had 3 forms of entertainment. It was like the day movie that they showed, the PM radio, and then comic strips.
Mm-hmm.
And so like his entire life was like dedicated to this. And he's like, even if nobody bought it, nobody liked it,
Yeah.
I would do it.
Yeah.
You know? And so really cool to like, get that vibe from a guy who wrote like, again, what I always considered, and that's the other thing, is I think other people have, especially me, before like reading Peanuts, right? You just have a conception that you're like, oh, it's like a comic, like a kid's comic strip. You know what I mean? There's not much there.
Yeah.
And then you find out that Charles Schultz did this to like channel his depression. He has this quote.
Yes.
He's like, humor can't come from happiness. That's like one of his quotes.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's like, humor has to come from like somewhere darker.
Oy.
Yeah. So it's just crazy.
That's interesting. That is very. I was reading about him recently too. That's why I thought this would be fun. But because there is a lot here. I don't know if you like looked into his life, but one of the quotes that I found the other day, I think I posted it. I don't have to read it, but it was talking about his life and about how, like in the 70s, he was going through a divorce and he refused to go to therapy because he'd been doing some of the best cartooning he's ever done in his life.
I did not hear about that. That's crazy.
It's just ripping apart his life, and he's like, I can't come up with shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it always sounds silly because it's like a Peanuts comic at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But it's not, you know what I mean? And in a weird way, that is better than therapy.
Yeah.
If you could
Art,
actually
you
get,
think?
if you can make an art, like if however you're feeling makes art that you can like always look back on and be happy that you made it, and it was like worth the pain almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like sometimes you're in moods where you just have to make something, and often it's shitty. But when it's not, then you're like, at least I was sad. At least I got this out of being sad. When you were going through the books, did you find anything about the little red-haired girl?
No, but I heard like when I was doing some research, it was like she never gets shown, but it's like Charlie's like love.
His love interest.
Yeah.
He's always like, I should go over and talk to the little red-haired girl, but no, she's gonna hate me. You know what I mean? He never meets her ever.
Yeah.
But he always has like so much feelings about her. But I was reading about that was like a real person in his life.
Really?
Yeah, like he worked
Oh,
at
yeah.
He worked at some company, and like she was like a secretary that was like 21. I think she was 20. He was 26, and they were like him and her like were going on a couple dates, but she was also seeing like another guy.
Oh wow.
Floozy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Salacious. I don't know if that was normal back then.
Yeah.
I feel like that shit was normal back like in the 50s or something like the 70s.
I think it was just more hush hush, but probably still.
I don't know. I feel like people just went on dates. Like I don't know. Anyways, so like he had the girl that he was in love with, and he like proposed to her. The other guy, she was dating this Charles Schultz, and she was dating this guy Al World, and Al World wasn't taking her seriously. And then not Charlie Brown, but Charles Schultz proposed to the girl, the red hair girl, and then I think she said they got to think about it and yada yada. And then the guy kind of was like, "Oh damn, like this dude's taking her on dates and just proposed. Like I gotta propose." And he proposed, and she said yes.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
That's tough.
And then
he created so many good comics based off of that.
Yes. Yes, it's crazy. So like he like literally would just like write always that would be like the motif is he's never gonna reach the girl, he's never gonna talk to her and all this shit. And like yeah, it is interesting. And I bet like the thing is it probably would have never really he wouldn't have really blown up as much if he really hadn't gone through that probably.
Yeah, all the hard stuff.
Which is weird. One thing I think is funny is that girl had to have regretted it throughout life. Don't you think?
I don't know, maybe, but
he literally
also
became like a millionaire.
Yeah, but he also turned out to be like a mess too. Like he got a divorce later with his like real wife. Yeah, and, like, was cheating on her, and
was he?
Yeah, he was cheating on her and found that out. Yeah,
really? From Peanuts Money?
Yeah,
really?
Probably from the Peanuts Money. Yeah.
I mean, if I was a girl, I'd probably throw it at Charles Schultz too.
Yeah.
He's just such a good cartoonist.
He's a really good cartoonist.
It's really crazy.
How many did you say he did? Like 17,000?
He's done like all but it was like something close to 18,000 comics throughout his life.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I was looking through and there were some ones that were just like commenting on the onomatopoeias that were created from. He was like, and then like commenting on it. It's like, what?
They're not all bangers.
Yeah. Like there's one where a leaf falls, and then when it hits the ground, it like a little musical note comes up, and then Charlie like looks at the screen. I don't know, breaks the fourth wall, and it's like musical note, like question mark. And it's like, what are you questioning that for? You made that.
Nah, that's going over your head.
I guess
you just don't get it.
No, you're like you can't be. They can't all be hits.
They're not all hits, but that was a hit. You just don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was your favorite one that you found?
I don't know. There was so it's like the ones I only found. I think I bookmarked like maybe like 4.
I have a crazy one. The one I was trying to find in the book that I thought was very interesting was, and I couldn't find it. Couldn't find them in the books because I just have too many Peanuts books and didn't have the focus to find it. But it was basically like Snoopy got this letter from someone and then like ran off.
Oh yeah.
And then Charlie Brown's like, "The fuck? Like, why is Snoopy being so secretive about this letter? Like, what's up with him? Like, he's like worried about Snoopy."
Yeah.
And then it cuts to like what Snoopy's really doing. Like, Snoopy goes visits this girl in the hospital.
Oh whoa.
You know, there's a girl in the hospital, and he's like, "Hey, like, yada yada." And then it cuts to later. Charlie Brown's trying to figure out what happened, and Linus like explains to him as like, well, like Snoopy, like you weren't Snoopy's first owner,
Oh, whoa.
you know?
Yeah.
Like Snoopy there was a girl that had Snoopy before you.
Whoa.
Like he was a part of a different family. Snoopy loved the girl, like the girl loved Snoopy.
Damn.
But they couldn't. She had to get rid of Snoopy because they were in an apartment.
They gave Snoopy an anime background story.
Yes,
That's
he has a
crazy.
background. Snoopy has exes.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is.
Snoopy has
wild.
past relationships.
Yeah. So what's the
And so
trip?
so what's crazy basically is that like then Charlie Brown kind of is like insecure about it. He's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, like what if Snoopy loves Lila more than me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what if like he misses her? Like why did he go run off to her and all this shit like that? And then Linus was like, nah, like Snoopy wouldn't have been happy in an apartment, and like he still loves the girl and he cares about her that she's in the hospital, but he likes his
What is
life
she
so
in the
much better
hospital
here.
for?
I don't know. It never says.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it never says. But basically, that Snoopy's happier here, and then it cuts to Snoopy, and Snoopy is like just like he gets to play pretend outside, and like he is truly happier with Charlie Brown and stuff like that.
Oh,
You know what I mean? But I like stuff like that because it is adult themes. Like you do get like insecure over like people's past relationships. You're like, I wonder if they like that person more than me. Da, 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 da. But then what I like about the Peanuts is you're looking at that and it's like. Like when you see kids have problems, you're like, well, that's all so fucking stupid. Like, why are you upset that your dog used to have a different owner? Like, that's not even, you know what I mean? Like, it's a dog. Your dog's happy wherever your dog is. You know what I mean? But then you're like, okay, then like other people would look at my problems as stupid too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an older, more wise person would look at my problems as stupid. So like my problems are stupid.
Right.
And like there is no reason to be insecure about like yada yada. Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
I was watching. I watched Love Actually for the first time last night,
Mm-hmm.
and there's this part where like Liam Neeson's character, like he marries this woman who has a kid already, so he's a stepfather, and then she dies like at the beginning of the movie, basically. And so he's left with this kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the kid like is like shut up in his room, and he's like all quiet, and Liam Neeson's trying to figure out like how to connect with him and like what to do about it, and he comes out and it finds out he's not sad about his mom's death. He's sad because he's in love.
Yeah.
And you're like, and Liam Neeson's like, what? That's great. And he's like, no, it's not. The anguish of love is terrible.
Yeah.
And it's like this 10-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then Liam is like, oh yeah, you're right. Like he immediately like switches gears to be like, yeah. I mean, like when you're looking at it, watching this movie, you're like, oh, that's funny. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like the fact that he takes it seriously makes it be like, it's like kind of the same thing. It's like these kids have these problems
Yes.
that to us do seem a little silly, but to them, like this kid was like really affected
Yes.
and really wanted to, be in love and like have a relationship
Yeah.
with a girl that he thought was unreachable, unattainable.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And they have no experience.
Yeah.
At all.
That's their whole world.
It's the whole world.
Like they just want to hold hands with the girl,
They just wanna
and like
hold
they're
hands.
like, man, that girl doesn't want to hold my hand.
Yeah.
And they're like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah. Do you find this a lot with? So you teach what? Like
Yeah.
What grade?
I taught third grade last year, and then this year I'm just substituting, so like I'm all around and yada
Mm.
yada. But like, there's a kid that it is fun to see them being excited. Like, there's a kid that I've been like, they just been putting with me. It's actually pretty funny. This isn't funny, but so I literally have been late. Like last week, I worked every day, like probably 12 minutes throughout the day, just because all I do is there's a kid who's like a fall risk, so he has like some physical disability. I don't know what it is. They don't tell me, but he could fall at any moment walking. So I just have to like walk behind him while he's in the hall, and then other than that, he's just in class and I'm chilling on my phone. Like it's the easiest job in the world. But me and the kid were walking, and he was like, I got a number today, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, what? You know what I mean? And he's like a very, very small kid. And like, and then like, I'm like, who was it? He's like, it's Mia. And I was like, that's cool. Like, you like her? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay. Like, you know what I mean? So, and then like, I think yesterday, I was like, did you text your girlfriend last night? And he's like, what? Like, he was like upset about it. And then like, then I'm like, I'm just messing with you. And then like a minute later, he was like, we called last night. We played Roblox together. And I was like, oh shit.
Whoa,
You know what I mean?
you had
Yeah.
a Roblox date.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know what's crazy though? Is he's a fall risk and he fell in love.
Oh.
I couldn't stop him. But it's funny, like it is so funny to see like kids just go through like those feelings that like, and it's like, yeah, playing Roblox with a girl is like huge for you. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. The thing is like, yeah, we're adults. Like this is like the peak of whatever the fuck. But you can still imagine like your problems from like an older perspective and know that. Like I talked to like the Mike outside Helium, the security guard, all the time about everything I'm sad about. He'll just be like, you got young bull problems. Like these are just young bull problems. And I'm like, damn, they are.
Yeah,
like, they are
yeah.
young bull problems. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, and I remember being. I think it was the first time. It wasn't 6th grade. I was 12, And I remember thinking for the first time, being like, okay, like I am now mentally apt to like understand a little bit more as like I take myself seriously. Like before
Mhm.
that, I hadn't really like they were just like young bull thoughts or
Mhm.
whatever. And then I turned 12 and I'm like, all right, these are the real shits. Like I'm gonna
Yeah.
remember these forever now.
Yeah.
But yeah, then as I grew up, 14, I'm like, oh, I thought that when I was 12, and I'm like, I think way differently than I did back then.
Yeah.
So then I was like, imagine what like thinking, you know, when you're 16 or 17 is
Mhm.
like looking back at these problems.
And they were so serious. I
yeah,
remember like being 15 and like just flopping on my bed, just sobbing and all this shit. And like I would like look back and then be like, I don't know what I was upset about.
well,
I was just upset because I was 15.
yeah, that's what, and that's crazy. It's like, at what point do you call it depression? At what point do you just call it like teen angst?
It's just teen angst. But no, that's the thing is like people write it off, but it is always a real problem that you're going through. You just have
Yeah.
to. But that's why I think stuff like the Peanuts is interesting because you're reading like little cartoon character kids having problems and you can still relate with them.
Mm,
And then it kind of just puts you in perspective of like things aren't that bad.
yeah,
It's never that deep.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, for
Easier
sure.
said than done.
But like while reading Peanuts, that's the purpose of reading the Peanuts, to kind of give you that perspective.
Truly.
At least.
Here's the type of shit I'm on lately.
Okay.
Here's my new worldview.
Okay.
So it's Snoopy's dancing, and Lucy's like crazy dog. And then she's like, anyone who would dance around like that in these troubled times is too stupid to know the difference. And then Snoopy's like, you're right, kisses her on the nose. And then he's like, that's why this is my I'm too stupid to know the difference dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fucking man. Like
Yeah.
he doesn't give a fuck about problems. He's just gonna dance and whatever. And everybody's like, don't you know how sad the world is? Don't you know how fucked up everything is? And he's
Yeah.
like, fuck y'all. I'm dancing. I'm chilling. I'm happy. I'm smiling. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was. I saw this thing yesterday on the internet, and it was like, when you read enough psychology and to understand that you can't be mad at anybody for being an asshole, and then it's like, then somebody commented and they were like, yeah, but read a little bit more philosophy and psychology and figure out that you can be mad at them. And it's just like, all right, you're doing this, like, you know, the meme where it's like the bell curve and it's like the idiots on one end and like the super smart guys on the other end.
Mhm.
And then there's like the angry guy in the middle. And it's
Mhm.
like on like the idiot's like, yeah, people can't help being mad, so don't get mad at them.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, this guy that's like super smart is like, people cannot. We are vessels made to experience emotion. You can't help that, so don't get mad at them. And the guys in the middle is like, yeah, I don't know. He's just like getting mad. He's like, these people are getting mad, and it's stupid that they're getting mad. They should be able to like, level out their emotions or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, why get mad at that? It's shit you can't control. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Yeah. But I mean, the point is like Snoopy, even if either he's too dumb and doesn't know anything's going on, so he starts dancing, or he's smart enough to realize that the people getting mad about him dancing are stupid.
Yeah.
So he just keeps dancing anyways.
Yeah, you just gotta dance. Even if people are, bruh, you gotta fight against the Lucy's in your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, I have a theory that I think like happier people do have someone in their life that they're trying to be happier than out of spite. I
Say
think
that
that's
again?
an important thing. Is like happy people have someone in their life that they're like, I'm gonna be happier than you. Like you're so depressed about everything, I'm gonna out happy you.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I think that is something important. Because like with my grandma, and my grandpa, when I used to live there,
Mm-hmm.
my grandma was happy-go-lucky, joy to the world
Yeah.
all the time, and my grandpa was like so fucking depressed all the time.
Yeah.
And they would like literally argue about shit like actual arguments over like is winter beautiful? You know what I mean? And my grandpa's
Wow.
like there's no leaves on the trees, there's no fruit, there's no producer, there's no making money, like we can't farm, and like 'cause they're both farmers.
Yeah.
Like you can't farm in the winter, like all this shit. Their grandpa's like, but it's beautiful because there's snows on the tree and there's like icicle, and like you know what I mean, like all this shit.
Yeah.
Literally arguments over that, and then I think that made my grandma so much happier to like have a force of depression to fight against.
Wow. Yeah.
And my
totally.
grandpa also just likes arguing, so he liked to shoot down happiness, and that made him happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's really like a yin yang kind of situation.
Well, I bet that's what helped Charles Schultz, is because, like, I mean, when you think about it, when it comes down to that whole like conflict between your grandma and your grandpa happens internally with everybody.
Mhm.
So for Charles Schultz to like create personifications of
Mhm.
these, sided arguments, you know what I mean, and like to be able to put them in perspective and like put them into characters and be like, well, that's a stupid way of thinking, but I do think that, you know what I mean?
yes,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
are. That's what I've been realizing is they're all character. Like Charlie Brown is definitely like the main
Yeah.
main sense of self. That's why like I think as an adult I relate more with Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
and like because everybody else is a little bit more one dimensional than Charlie Brown.
Mm-hmm.
But then like Lucy is like the evil force, and like Linus is like the poetic young, like not romantic, just like I don't know. Everybody is their own character. Like Snoopy is like whimsy, like joy, and then sometimes he's like upset with. I don't know. They all represent something.
No, yeah. I
that
agree.
like is because everybody's psyche is complicated. So like he basically personified like the one dimensional parts of your psyche, put them together as like a whole,
Right.
and like how they converse with each other is like kind of like your own thoughts, like your own. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I think that kind of relates to this one that I found, and it's like I don't even know these two girls, but it's like this girl's holding a cat, and the other one walks by like, and then she's like, people hate cats, and then she's like, people hate people who own cats. And people especially hate people with naturally curly hair who hate her own cats. You know what I mean?
Wait, let me see. Oh, because she has a cat in the. Oh yeah, bro, that's Lucy. That's what I'm telling you.
Lucy?
Dude, you gotta fight. This is Lucy that hates her. I don't know this girl's name, to be honest.
She's got real curly blonde
People
hair.
hate cats. People hate people who own cats. People hate especially.
Yeah. Like one of these dark thoughts that it's literally just like a passing thought, like you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Can like just send you down this spiral of like hating yourself because of something that you like, because you like a cat. Yeah.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Yeah. This is her putting down. This is her repressing her magic. You know what I mean? To be like, coin tricks are stupid. Everybody hates coin tricks. Everybody hates people that do coin tricks.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody hates me.
The
you know
magic,
what I mean? Yeah, like how quickly it is to hate yourself just on like the maybe chance that someone doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's easier to go down that negative slippery slope than it is to go up a positive slope too. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, that person liked my magic, but what if he was the only one who liked it? You're like with comedy, you know, it's like, oh, that person laughed at this joke. What if they're the only one?
Yeah.
That
What if
that
they're
joke?
what if they have a bad sense of humor?
Right. There's so many blocks on it. It doesn't spiral as bad as like negativity spirals in the other direction.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. What if they laughed at my joke because they're actually racist?
Jesus Christ. Yeah. This was one that I really liked. So it's just Snoopy laying on his doghouse in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, he's like, it's fun to lie here and listen to the sounds of the night. But somehow something seems to be missing. And he stands up and goes, oh, and then he sits back down. He's like, in my opinion, that was just what was needed. You know?
Yeah, that's just what this night needed.
Right, yeah. Well, and it kind of, to me, that's like one of the bigger like spirituality like concerns that I have, that I think is like a big spirituality concern in general. Is like, all right, you should be able to just sit and enjoy the present as it is without like, you know, putting yourself out and like controlling it or trying to manipulate it or anything. But like, you've already, like, we lived under the veil for the longest time, and once you get into spirituality, you kind of lift the veil and see that like the next level of trying to, you know, stillness and trying to be at peace with everything, right? But there's no fun in pursuing that. You know, the fun is like adding your own little piece to the game. Yeah, your stupid things to the game. Yeah, just stand up and go, oh, you know what I mean? Because it's like, well, I mean, that's the fun part. You know,
this night need to be doing something stupid. No, it really, like, you'll be having a peaceful night at home, and then you're like, I really do look at all my hobbies as stupid. And I know that they're stupid, and I know that people don't give a fuck about any of my hobbies, and that makes them more fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the fact that they only matter to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking joy. Like, you use Pinterest?
What?
Do you use Pinterest?
No, not at all.
The joy of Pinterest of this year. You know what it is, though?
Yeah.
You scroll through, it's like just a bunch of pictures of shit, and you get to like.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is a cool picture of bug. I'm gonna put that in my bug folder, and like, here's a good picture of flowers. I'm gonna put that in my flowers folder, and then I have like a hot girl folder and like shit like that. And then it's literally the stupidest. I'm like, this is all useless. This goes nowhere. This doesn't do anything for anybody. It doesn't help my life at all, and I love it. You know? It's like sometimes you just gotta do stupid shit.
It's just like collaging.
Same with collaging. Like, people like collaging is so funny because it's like, it is just dumb as fuck. It's like I love my collages. I love how they turn out and everything. But like, I had one that, and I love showing people, and like, they don't move anybody. Nobody ever feels any emotion from them. But they always like are like, oh my god! Like, I have like a frog out of lima bean can. That's my big famous one right now.
And I think I've seen that one.
I showed my sister's boyfriend, and he was like, oh, like, he was like, so you put the frog on the lima bean can? And I'm like, yeah, I put the frog on the lima bean can. It's just what it is. Like, you have to embrace that life is just dumb, and like, you can enjoy dumb things. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Unabashedly.
We're just dogs on a doghouse in the night.
It is dogs in a doghouse. Speaking of my sister, fucking this one cracks you up specifically. It's not really that deep. You don't have a sister, do you?
I do, yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait, older?
Mhm.
Younger? Older.
She's 30, yeah.
Oh, okay. But you don't have a younger sister.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Cause I don't know. That's like a thing you're supposed to be like protective of your younger sister and shit like that. I don't know. And she literally makes fun of like the fact that her like that older brothers are supposed to be like tough and protective, and like her older brothers are like me.
Yeah, it's like you just putting frogs on beans.
Yeah. But this one just reminded me of me and her because it's Charlie Brown's sister like yelling at someone. And she's like, "You stupid kid! You wouldn't say that if my big brother was here." And then like Charlie Brown shows up and she looks at him and then she was like, "Then again, maybe you would." But I don't know. I just love shit like this, man. It's just like he speaks to the truth of like, and then also he's like then she's like, "Why do I have to get stuck with a big brother who's nothing?" Then she's like, "Why aren't you the hero type?" He's like, "Well, I guess if you're not the hero type, you're just not the hero type.
You're just not.
You're just not.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just not." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then sometimes in life you'll like get in your head about like, I don't know, I'm not the hero type. I'm not a da-da-da. You know what I mean? Like I'm not the fucking man all the time. Like,
right. And you don't have to be that.
Yeah,
though.
not everybody is. And you don't care about people that aren't.
It's hard not to though when you see that people that are, or when you get in a situation that it would be helpful to be the hero type. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean you have to do what you can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You always have to be bettering yourself, but you also have to, at the end of the day, just be like, I am what I am.
It's kind of like with like hyper masculinity. You know what I mean? There's like times where it's like hyper masculinity is like a shit circle and everybody's just shitting on each other and it's like misogynistic and it turns into like, dick measuring contests or whatever. But there's some times where you do need to be like masculine. You know what I mean? Like if they're, especially if you're with a group of people or whatever, you're the tallest one or the strongest one or whatever of the group, and then something threatening happening. So, it starts happening. Like there's a, like a crazy person that comes up to you in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? Or like somebody that's trying to fuck with you a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like you have to, employ those masculine traits that you before were like, oh, I don't need those. You know what I mean?
That is very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do have to be strong in whoever you are. You have to be able to defend what you are, but you don't have to be what other people are.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like a Dave Chappelle quote from his like whatever Mark Twain thing. His Mark Twain award.
That was
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was
where
great.
it's like you have what is it? You have to be a lion to be the sheep you want to be, or something.
Oh wow!
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something like that. It's like you have to be. Yeah, you have to be like tough in order to like defend like the softer side of yourself.
The softer side of you.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that, but that definitely makes sense.
It's a really good quote because I mean, like sometimes you get like so focused on like trying to be tough and all this shit, and you're like, I'm not even. What am I right now? This is not me,
dude. I remember before moving out to Philly, like, it was like a moment where I just like broke down in front of my parents. It was like, I'm soft. You know what I mean? It's like I'm soft. It's like I can't do this. You know what I mean? Like, what's gonna happen to me out there?
Yeah.
And it was so funny because my mom's like, your dad's soft, it's fine. You know what I mean? He's like, he's sensitive too. And it's like, and look, he's got like a family and he's got like a life and and had his own business and done all these things. It's like, he's accomplished these things and he's still soft. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I don't care if other people think I'm soft, but if my girlfriend thinks I'm soft, I'm so upset. But that's what you got to get over.
Yeah.
I need to find, that literally, I had bookmarked one that was like almost that same exact fucking train of thought. Fuck, I gotta find it because that's like so pertinent.
I have my next one.
Yeah, fill the time. I'll find it. It.
This one, it's Charlie Brown walking with. So this kid, is this Linus? He doesn't have a blanket.
No, that's Schrodinger.
Is that his name?
Yeah, so he's the pianist. He plays piano, and Lucy's in love with. I love their relationship because Lucy's so head over heels in love with him, and he just doesn't give a fuck because he's focused on his piano.
Yeah.
And it's how you feel with stand-up in relationships.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? They'll be like, why can't you talk about me? And you're like, I'm doing my thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
You know what's crazy is I found out about the Christmas special that they asked him if he wanted to do it. They like got the ball rolling, and then they made it all like last minute, and so they showed it to the network like a week before it was supposed to air. And they hated it. They didn't like that the kids were voiced by actual children. Like they thought they were supposed to be voiced by like adult actors. They hated like the jazz, like the jazzy like music. They were like, this is too melancholy. They like there was just so many parts that they hated. But they're like, but it goes out in a week, so we're gonna put it on air and see how it does. And then it became like the #2 airing thing on
Hell
TV
yeah.
besides like Bonanza. I think was
Yeah,
the number
the Christmas
one thing.
special with like the tiny Christmas tree and
With the classic music that everybody knows. Yeah.
I love the Linus and Lucy song. The
Oh
that
yeah.
one?
Yeah. That's like the classic Charlie Brown theme. I feel.
Yeah, I literally have it in my like songs on Spotify.
That's awesome.
I'm telling you, bro, I live for this shit.
Yeah.
I really wish I could find.
No, you could keep looking. I still haven't even read this one yet.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, so it's that kid, and he's like, remember how kids used to make lemonade stands? And he's like walking with Charlie Brown, and he's like, I wonder why you don't see them so much anymore. What's taken their place? And then they walk by Lucy, and she's like at a lemonade stand, but it says psychiatric help, 5 cents. The doctor is in, and he's like, now you know. And it's crazy because that literally is like America. Like I've been watching like documentaries. There's this one like I'm watching right now by Adam Curtis called "What Happened to the American Dream," basically. And like back in like the 50s and the 60s, and this is what the Virgin Suicides is all about, is like the death of the typical American dream, where you have like a house and a family in a suburb, and you maybe even start your own business or whatever, and you live out the American dream. You know, you have like a pool in your backyard or whatever, and like green grass and the whole thing. Like that was the ideal for so long, and then they started. Psychiatry, I guess is what it's called. They started pushing out pills,
Like monetizing it and everything.
well, yeah, pretty much, and it became like this whole big charade, and it's crazy because that's basically what happened is the American dream died, with Richard Nixon. But we don't have to like talk about that. But what I was saying is, it's just crazy
American
how
being
it's
a
like
guy with the gold standard,
Yeah.
losing the gold standard. That's where we fucked up as a country.
Yeah, I mean that's where we fucked up as a universe, as a world, but a society.
Yeah, why can't we use gold?
But no, but I mean, putting that in a 4-panel comic is like, yeah, we used to be focused on like our own businesses and our own lives, and now we're focused on mental health. Like,
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
That's crazy. He put it in 4 panels.
he put it 4 panels.
That's wild.
I mean, this man is profound. It is crazy. Also, I love if like this like Charlie Brown always goes to Lucy for psychological advice,
Yeah.
and her like Lucy's just like brute force, whatever.
Yeah, the
And it really is just like tough love. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Which is it's necessary.
yeah.
Like just whatever, like be the like you know what I mean? Like grow the
Yeah,
fuck
so
up.
you've been talking a lot of shit about Lucy, but we haven't really talked about the pros of like.
Pros of Lucy, but she does make you feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah, soft things don't really make you feel better. Like of like, you know, it's okay to feel sad and like sometimes you got like if you really need to cheer up, it is tough love that you gotta.
Yeah, well, there's one that was like talking about, especially when psychiatry was becoming big and like people started associating themselves with the symptoms that they related to depression and anxiety. Everybody thought that that meant they had depression and anxiety. And there's a like a comic where she has that stand, the psychiatric help, 5 cents, and he like trauma dumps on her basically, and he's like, "Can you help?" And she's like, "Yeah, just don't think about it." And she's like, "Get happy," and then
Yeah.
just like pay up. And like that was the help. You're like, it is tough love, but honestly, like being sad sometimes is a mindset. You know what I mean?
It is a mindset. You can get addicted to being sad.
Yeah,
That's what I've been like trying to get out of.
You know, yeah, you're sad, but you still have to force yourself to like do things and like try to enjoy life, and you know what I mean. Just get what you can out of it, even if you have that, you know, edge of sadness.
Yeah, like I don't know. It is weird. Like okay, because you'll be sad, and then you'll find things that you enjoy doing while you're sad, things that make you feel better, and then you kind of get into the habit of doing the things that make you feel better and getting addicted to that, and then just you're kind of addicted to it, but that also keeps you sad. Like
Why would that keep you sad?
like okay, you got a Michaela breakup. You know what I mean? Just for the last like 3 months, I'm done with it now. But last 3 months, nothing but listening to the front bottoms.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but listen to the front bottoms, like every fucking song, and like feeling every lyric, and just like singing it in my car, and just be like, I'm so sad right now. You know what I mean? Because then it's like front bottoms make me feel better. Love the front bottoms. Love that the music's connecting and shit like that. And then I wouldn't want to listen to anything else. And like I get in the car and be like, try to listen to something else, and be like, now I want to listen to the front bottoms, and it's just making you sad.
Right.
Like you're only listening to things that remind you of being sad, and even if it makes you feel better, you're still kind of addicted to being sad. You know what I mean? Like eventually you have to be like, all right, I'm gonna force myself to listen to other
Something
music
new, yeah.
just to like get out of this headspace
Right,
and like
right,
leave
right.
this headspace in the past. And now I've been trying to decondition the front bottoms and like put them on a little bit
Yeah,
whenever
yeah.
I'm like chilling
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
good
I
mood,
know
and then
what
just like slowly make it not feel any have it not make me feel anything.
Well, yeah, part of coping with grief is processing, and I think you should allow yourself a processing period of about 3 months or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And n- d- I wouldn't say that listening to the Front Bottoms it was healthy in that it helped you cope, but it wasn't healthy in that it helped you move on. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to figure out when it's time to move on.
Yeah, I
And
mean, and you have to give yourself that grace period and like allow yourself to really delve into that emotion. Because here's the other thing that I figured out is once you get out of it, once you're happy again, right? Things become a little less, they hit less impactful. You know what I mean? Less deep. So I don't know if you feel this, but when I was happy for this like long stretch of like 8 months. By the end of the 8 months, it's like, bro, I feel like I haven't like felt anything in so long. Like I've been just kind of enjoying life and going along with all these like my hobbies and like having a good time and socializing, and it's been fun, but like Front Bottoms hasn't hit for me, you know what I mean, in like 8 months, you know what I mean.
mm-hmm.
So it's like when you have that period where it's really hitting for you, yes, you have to find the perfect time for to move on or whatever and find that balance, but while you're in it, appreciate the fact that it's making you feel that way and that these songs are hitting and that
Yeah.
it's so meaningful to you.
That was
in those
something
moments.
George Blaha
Yeah,
sent
yeah.
to me about from the show Louis. I never watched Louis, but I feel like you watched it, right?
Yeah.
About it was like Louis talking to the old man about like he was like you dated someone and they broke up and you're sad that it's over. And he's like, yeah. He's like, what's the problem? He's like, I'm too sad. The guy basically is like, misery is wasted on the miserable. Like it's such a joy to feel this sad and to know that you actually love someone this much and to like to be walking around and be missing someone and all this shit. Like he's like, I haven't missed anyone in like 37 years. Like I wish I could feel like you and I can't feel that anymore. And like just enjoy this while it's like enjoy being sad.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Easier said than done for sure. Like 100%.
It is easier said than done. But that's kind of the thing about misery is wasted on the miserable if nothing comes from it. That's why I kind of like Charles Schultz and shit. Like he'll be really sad and then like make something nice out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's like not wasted.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Like my mom's like going through a divorce and all this shit. And I'm like, and she's wasting her writing. She's a very talented writer, but she's just wasting all the writing on like very poetic text messages to my dad and like all this shit. I'm like, you should fucking write a book or just write how you feel or just write something down and then like don't send it to anybody. Like in your head, you're not going to show anybody this.
Right. Yeah.
Just do it.
Even if you end up later down the line showing it to somebody or whatever.
Yes.
But just make it for yourself.
Make it for yourself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that kind of stuff is like the best. I sent you one of my songs that you're one of the other people that have heard it. I think it's you, my brother.
And the girl you made it for?
Mm-hmm. No, never.
Oh, she never heard it?
No.
Wow, I feel special.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's crazy, but like looking back at that, I'm like so happy that I've like recorded that and like yada yada. But I was like so nervous to show anybody that I just didn't, and I kept it to myself, and that kind of makes it nicer. Looking back and just being like, this is how I felt.
This is how I felt.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. I relate to it in a sense where my music during COVID, like I chased that high so much because like I had so many songs hit during COVID. Like at first, like when I was so sad, and then like the riots happened, and I was like just real down, feeling white guilt or whatever, feeling everything. But like now I look back and I'm like, dude, that was the greatest time period for like my music library. Like I have the best songs from that era.
Yeah.
And I'm always chasing that high,
Oh, you don't feel it? You don't feel them as deep?
Well, yeah, I'll put on this every once in a while. It'll hit. You know what I mean? There'll be one like I'll put on like the Pink Phantom by the Gorillaz. Like that was one that hit like so hard for me. Like it came out in October and it made it to my top 5 on Spotify Wrapped by the end of the year, and it just has never like hit the same for me. But every once in a while when I'm like got that like melancholy like tip tapping on my brain, I'll put on that song and it'll hit sometimes.
Did you ever listen to Nobody by Mitski?
No.
Really?
No.
Nobody.
No.
Damn. That one I found while like quarantined because I had COVID.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, just the best thing in the world.
Just the best thing in the world.
So it's just about having nobody or whatever the fuck.
Right.
Like, and it just like hit perfectly because I was lonely as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's lonely for a good reason.
Yeah.
It's not lonely because like everybody hates you and shit like that. You're just like, I miss people.
Yeah.
It was just a nice lonely.
I agree. And I think that's what we are like with as artists, that's what we are trying to encapsulate in what we put out. You know what I mean? Something that like hits for somebody to help them cope. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And to yes, in a sense, like delve them deeper into sadness, which maybe again they have to figure out when they get out of it. But like for you to be that thing that they come back to, like if somebody came to me and they were like, dude, I listened to this podcast episode when I was so down and it really, really helped me out. You know what I mean? Like Josh came on and he was talking about like alcoholism.
Yeah.
And then one of my buddies came up, he's like, dude, I listened to that podcast and I've decided to just like take a break for at least a month. And then I went 60 days and he's just like, it's helped so much. And it's like to be able, like when somebody is feeling like their addiction, like alcohol, is becoming so overwhelming and so, you know, running their lives, that they listen to something that I did, you know what I mean? And again, it was like still at that low point, but it hit for them and helped them kind of bounce back into it. Yeah. Yeah, and then the sad part is that it's a cycle, right? So people are always going to go back into their hole again, and you might not be there.
But you might get a second listen.
Yeah, you might get a second listen.
You fucked me up so bad when I was so sad about the breakup, and you were like, well, at least you have time to do my podcast. I'm like, yep, Steve. At least I have time to do your podcast.
Damn, bro. Yeah. No, it's because you got fired.
Yeah. Oh, true. Yeah, I got fired for sleeping at work. But on the theme of like feeling gratefulness and loss and everything like that, I was talking to my brother last night because my brother is upset because me and my mom are all like just distraught over breakups and all this shit, and like talk about like Christmas feels like sad right now and all this shit. And Kevin was mad about it for a little bit, like why y'all shitting on Christmas songs. Like Kevin's been so pro Christmas this year, and I was talking to him about it last night, and he was like, I was in jail last Christmas. Like I didn't get to have Christmas with y'all.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like I love Christmas. Like this is the best thing. Like I love giving. I love the music. I love like the feeling of like wanting to do all this shit like that. And I'm like, damn, you really got visited by like the ghost of Christmas future. He was like, yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you have to lose something to enjoy everything else you have.
Yeah.
So much better. You know what I mean? And it's something that you love. Like it's genuinely, you have to lose something you love.
Yeah.
And it's otherwise it's not gonna hurt, and you're not gonna appreciate. Like I've gone through so many breakups I don't give a fuck about.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and it just did nothing to me.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, man, I'm heartless. And then like you go through a breakup that hits you. And then like since then I've been like so good at like listening to people talk about being sad and like just kind of like really listen. Like, you know, like sometimes your life is sick or like whatever the fuck, my life's sick. Like
exactly. You don't think it's deeply.
You don't think it's deeply. Yeah. You're like, life's good. Like, what do you mean life's not good for you? Fucking figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? But then you're like, oh, I feel, and then it's like you're going through something worse than me. So like, like my shit's not even that bad. And,
right.
You know what I mean? And like now I got to talk to you because like, of course you're going through. Like, you become such a more down to earth, like more empathetic person. You actually think about others instead of yourself for a second. Like, it's just you need to go through pain all the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but just when you need it.
Absolutely. And that's why Jesus was on the cross for 3 days, right?
So true.
Yeah. I actually had like when I was like at my lowest point in February 2022, there was like a point where I did something and it like broke me. Like I felt it like mentally break me. And then I like tortured myself. Like I was like running as hard as I could. I was just like eating only like veggies, you know what I mean? And just like putting myself through the ringer. But then by the third day, like literally I woke up and I'm like, wow, I kind of atoned for the, you know, like the mistake that I made. And like, it felt really like I shed that.
You grow from it.
That layer of it. Yeah. And then from there, I've just never even been close to that. Like my baseline of mental health had just been so much better since then.
Since that point.
Yeah, since that point. Yeah. Have you ever had, and you don't have to get into this if you don't, but have you ever had like a major death in your life?
No.
Me neither, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm worried about because like it's so like I've been listening to Marin a lot, and he had like a girlfriend die that was like, you know, a big deal for him. And him and Andrew Garfield have this one podcast that's like my favorite, I think, of the entire like show, basically. But it's like made me kind of, what made me think about it is you were talking about like Christmas, you know what I mean? Like he didn't even get to have that Christmas because he was in jail. But I was back home for, it must have been like Easter or some other like holiday or something. And I just remember like sitting in the house and like feeling so like whole. And then I was trying to think like, wow, like my parents are going to die someday. Like that's going to be extremely sad. And like just thinking about like what they talk about on the podcast is like the absence. It's not that the fact that they're gone and you miss them, but it's you feel the absence. So like my dad got up to go get a drink, and I imagined like, what if he just wasn't there?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I couldn't be in this room right now. Like that would be so suffocating to just like sit in this room that I've sat with him in this room for 25 years. If he weren't here right now, it would just be like so heavy. You know what I mean? It was just weigh down on me. And so I've been trying to like, obviously like you shouldn't, you know, dwell on that because it's not a great feeling, but I think it is healthy.
You can't
to,
dwell on it, but you do have to like think about it from time to
Right.
time. And then, like for example, breakup, okay, like yada yada, sad. And I'm like, damn, like this person I miss, and like yada yada. But then I'm like, one day like my mom's gonna die, and like one day my brother's gonna die, and
Right.
like right now in this moment I can call both of them,
Yeah.
and I can talk to them on the phone, and that's it. Like enjoy that,
Yeah.
because one day it's not gonna be there.
Yeah.
And like, and you can't dwell on that because it makes you not enjoy the moment.
Right.
But you do have to remind yourself from time to time, it's like, don't take anything for granted, and don't take this people you love for granted. And like, I'm gonna cry.
Dude, no, it's real though, because
Yeah.
in that moment when I was like imagining that while he was down getting a drink, I'm like, wow, it's just me and my mom here. And it was just like, wow, I really need to take her in. Like while he's just going to get a drink, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like I really need to take her and appreciate her while she's here. Yeah.
yes.
Because it could be like the other way, man.
Yeah.
It's-
Damn, I cry all the time now.
No, it's tough, man. I
Yeah.
think you should be allowed. I'm tearing up a little bit.
I know.
myself.
Some shit gets sad, man. Anyways, this is
fucking
you.
peanuts, dude.
This is you and Spade.
Oh yeah.
It's Lucy, and she's looking up at the stars, and she said, "Poets tell us that all the answers to life can be found in the stars." And it's like 2 panels of just her looking, and then she's like, "Stupid poets." That's you though.
You can't find meaning in places where people want you to find meaning. You have to find meaning in the way that you find meaning.
Yes,
Yeah.
bro, that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true, because so many people do shit to be meaningful, and people are getting mad at me.
Yeah. Well,
But
well, yeah, like in Spain, everyone's like, "Oh, once you like leave the country, your perspective changes
Mhm.
entirely." And I was like, it's cool.
And
But
you
it was
do
when it was cool, but I didn't find meaning until I came back. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like was back in my life.
Mhm.
And it was like, okay, there's like perspective now that I have here in comparison. But like while I was there, it wasn't like, oh my God, what the just like walking around.
Yeah.
What is happening? You're
Yeah.
speaking a different language. Yeah.
yeah,
Nothing crazy like that.
it was a mind blowing.
No, but I went and got like I hadn't got my Chinese food. I have my Chinese food spot that I really like. I think I told you about it. But I went there yesterday for the first time since vacation. And I was like, just like getting my own Chinese food, even if it's shitty Chinese, you know what I mean? It was great. But also those people, they don't speak a lick of English. They'll be like, oh, hi, friend, here you go. And like, I try to communicate.
Yeah.
And it's like, imagine not speaking a language in the country that you live in. I was lost for 10 days in a country where nobody spoke English, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And they're living in that.
Oh, they're constantly living in that.
Yeah, they're constantly
Yeah.
living in that. It's
I know, it's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's one thing I genuinely couldn't really imagine how that feels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is why you got to go have like different life experiences and shit, just to like at least get a glimpse into something.
Yeah.
Like know what it's like for no one to speak your language. I've never experienced that. Have it before? Not really. I don't think I've experienced that before.
Yeah.
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 Well, that's what I'm like. I feel so like a part of me feels, and I think you'll be able to relate to this. Like a part of me feels so much guilt for not sticking with something and trying to like build. You know what I mean? So like with comedy and then with like the movie thing. And it's like not necessarily that I'll never come back to those things, but then I considered this travel adventure to be almost just as big as like one of those ventures. You know what I mean?
What do you mean, one of those ventures?
Like diving into performing stand-up comedy or writing.
Doing something new.
Yeah, doing something new and also
new, nerve-wracking,
yeah,
exciting.
it's just a life experience. And so like I do feel guilt for not like continuously building on those things all the time, because consistency is what helps you like, attain a certain status within that hobby or whatever. And it's like, well, I just want to experience life. You know what I mean? It's like I want to experience like doing stand up and then having the movie and then traveling. People love traveling. I want to experience, going out in the snow and like being in the wilderness, and I want to experience, it's just like talking to all these people, it's just like I don't know. I'm trying to find meaning somewhere, but I think the meaning is in having all these different experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, it's living, going down paths that you didn't enjoy, and like realizing shit that you hate, and making that make you appreciate things you like more. And then like that's I always call my brother when I'm sad and like yada yada, and then he'll just be like, bro, like every time you talk to me, like you got something new, and like sometimes you're super excited about something, and sometimes you're super sad about something, but you're genuinely living. And like I talk to other people and I'm like, what's new? And they're like, well, I bought cabbages. Like I'm pretty excited about like, cabbages. You know what I mean? And it's just like, bread, who gives a fuck? Like right now, like you're going through it.
Yeah.
And that's good. Like you're actually feeling something and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one day you're gonna grow old and enjoy small shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
And
yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
true. No, I mean that's what I appreciate about you. Appreciate about you is like every time we hang out, you're like on something. You know what I mean?
What I'd like to do, like I'm trying to figure.
Yeah, like something new that you're trying to figure out about yourself, or like how you're gonna attack the next problem. Or
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Or like, well, like you recently got into like going to raves. It's like, okay, how do I like enhance the rave
Yeah.
environment? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like to me, that sounds like fun. You know what I mean?
It's fun.
Like the way that you talk about it just
Yeah.
makes it seem like you're really like going after it.
Yeah,
know
you
what I
gotta
mean?
love life.
Yeah.
What the fuck else is it for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you have to like, cause I don't know, man. What you're talking about, like the getting upset about people that are angry, and like whatever, like it's not their fault for getting angry.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
sometimes it's not their fault. Like sometimes life really just does hurt people and yada yada. But sometimes it is someone's fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes like you're just accepting a boring life path. Like it's boring to be like bitter all the time, and it's boring to just like subscribe to misery and just let yourself be. You know what I mean? It's like do some shit that is just for you, or do some shit that is like howl in the middle of the night, like Snoopy.
Yeah, like howl in the middle of the night, like Snoopy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just what they needed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling you, bro. Like, and here's the thing. It really might be just because my reading level's not that high. I might find these same feelings from like a Tolstoy book or something.
Yeah.
But Peanuts does the job. If you let something be deep, it is, man.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a good spot to wrap up.
Let's do it.
Do you have one more that you wanted to?
No,
like,
I did
read?
want to show people my jacket though.
Oh yeah, all right.
Yeah.
So before he's gonna show us our jacket, but follow Ben with Staab on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
He's also got a podcast, AO Actually,
actually.
and he does stand up all over the place.
Yep. Follow me. Follow Steve. Steve's the man. I guess they already follow you, huh? Check out the jacket, baby.
Yo,
Look at
it's
this.
big. Stand up. Oh, set the thing down. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Snoopy. He's got big sunglasses. This is a sick jacket. It's like fleece too. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Snoopy's in style this year. I wore this one. I wore this one last year, and nobody talked about it. And then this year, everyone's like, "Where'd you get that jacket?" And I was like, "Where were you last year?
Yeah.
Where were you guys last year?"
Right.
But all right, this has been a blast.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming out.
Thank you.